You're welcome back to the conversation here on News Central Television. The first half, we did talk about the Namibian president's comment that the world's polluters are criminals in the ongoing Conference of Parties sitting in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. It's now time for us to switch gears and move to situations in Nigeria. A federal high court sitting in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, has convicted the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrasheed Bawa, for contempt of court in relation to his agency's failure to comply with an earlier order of the court. In a ruling on Tuesday, Justice Chizoba Oji held that the chairman of the anti-graft agency is in contempt of the order of the court made on November the 21st, 2018, directing the commission to return to an applicant his Range Rover and the sum of 40 million naira.
Now, the judge also ordered Bawa to be committed to prison at Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja, for his disobedience and continued disobedience of the said order until he purges himself of the contempt. Meanwhile, Bawa has said an appeal had been filed. The anti-graft czar, who appeared before the House of Representatives Committee on Anti-Corruption to defend his agency's budget on Tuesday, said the law would take its natural course. And now joining us for this conversation, we have Barrister Fred Nzeakor, is a legal practitioner. We also have Tony Agbons, is a researcher, senior lecturer at Anglo-Ruskin University, London. We also have Bayo Olusoya, an associate counsel, joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome, gentlemen, to the conversation.
Good evening.
Good evening. So I'll begin with you, Bayo. Now, the ruling delivered on October 28 was on a motion filed by an Air Vice Marshal, that was Rufus Adeni Ojuawe. Now, he complained that the EFCC declined to comply with the order for the release of his seized property made by the court in a judgment delivered on November 21, 2018. Now, with all this, what do you make of this recent verdict by the Abuja High Court, putting or sentencing the AFCC chief, that is Abdulrasheed Bawa, for contempt of court and sending him to the Kuje prison? What do you make of all this?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me once more. From my own perspective as a legal practitioner, what has just happened is a flagrant disregard and impunity against our judicial system in Nigeria. It has always been a commonplace that you have government agencies, private individuals, and what have you, disobey court orders. And in this instance, the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrasheed Bawa, had committed this disobedience to the court order, even with so much impunity. You know, I studied the case and I discovered that this ruling in question was delivered as at November 21, 2018. And under the contempt proceedings, it is always the process that a contemptor, before the court hire a motion or notice for such process, a contemptor is first of all served with a particular notice that is called Form 48. Form 48 is just to bring to the notice of the contemptor that he has disobeyed the court order and that a certain steps is about to be taken by the party. And after the service of Form 48, the contemptor has 48 hours to respond. And after 48 hours, it does not respond. There is also what we call Form 49. Form 49 is to the effect that the contemptor will then be committed to prison. However, after the service of Form 49, it's not absolute at that stage that the contemptor is committed to prison. The court still hears a motion or notice that is filed by the party on the other side. So Abdulrasheed Bawa had all the time in the world to do the needful to comply with the order of the Honorable Court as far as as was delivered by the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. But
Bayo, can you hear us?
No, I think we lost Bawa. I'd like to bring in Barrister Nzeakor into the conversation. And now, Barrister, we have a situation where the court has ordered for the arrest of the EFCC chairman. How does this play out normally? Do you have a situation where this sort of things happen normally, and which excuse can the EFCC chairman give for disobeying court orders? Is it, I do know the EFCC has a legal department, but is it as a result of, bureaucracy and they can't attend to all the cases? What do you make of this drama that is playing out?
Thank you for having me, and I say good day to our dear viewers. It's important that we put certain issues in proper perspectives. Contempt of court can be in two forms, either in the face of the court, which is called in curia facie, or outside the face of the court, which is ex curia facie. The one that EFCC chairman was found to have breached is the contempt of court ex curia facie, which is flagrant disobedience of the order of court. But it's important that we let it clear to our dear viewers that the current chairman of EFCC was assumed office on 24th of February 2021. The matter that has led to this issue arose from a judgment of the FCT High Court on 18th of November, I think 18th of November 2018. That is clear 3 years before Abdulrasheed Bawa assumed office. But he is the chairman of EFCC. So if he inherits the assets of EFCC, he should also inherit the liabilities. If he has assumed office as the chairman, he should maintain that office. And what we are yet to see, which I believe must have happened, is that the lawyer to the man who, to the Evers Marshal Ojuawo, who was a beneficiary of that court order, would have written the current chairman to intimate him and bring him up to date with the judgment of the court, just in case he has not been briefed. And if that has happened, and he still did not want to obey that court order, that is where his office and his personality will be brought into the fray. And that is where he has to really answer questions to the court. And I guess that is why the court would have, by the motion filed by the lawyers to the FVM of Juawo, the court would have been convinced that the current chairman has been kept abreast of the realities and then has consistently refused to obey the orders of court, given validly in 2018. And I guess that is why the court had to call him out and commit him to prison, or ask that he be committed to prison. The flip side to it is that Nigerians must know that no matter how highly placed anybody is, that nobody is above the law. We have our constitution and our laws, and we are guided by the laws of the land. And any failure to respect, any attempt to disrespect, any attempt to breach the provisions of the law will leave us tattered as a country, will leave us tattered in the face of humanity. And it will make us lower than the animals in the forest. The laws make the humans, the law different from the animals. The laws make man above all other animals. And if you take away the laws of any country, then the country becomes a banana republic where might is right. And that is why when we talk about rule of law, we don't say that for issue of semantics. We say that because we know that the law is the foundation, the bulwark, and the bastion of humanity, especially in a democratic setting. So that lesson should be learned. And going forward, we should also know that nobody is above the law. Nobody is, apart from the president, the vice, and the governor and the deputy, any other person can be questioned at any time. Those who have immunity can be questioned when they have dropped their immunity. So what it means is that essentially nobody is above the law. And if nobody is above the law, the chairman of EFCC in his office should know that EFCC went to court in the first instance, and EFCC is expected to obey the orders of the court. It is not in the realm of the EFCC. It is not in their right to decide which order to obey and which order not to obey. Every valid order of court must be obeyed in
Now,
Nigeria.
Barrister Nzeakor, you have a situation. The EFCC is quite a big organization. It has a legal department. Do you believe this is on the chairman of the EFCC? Is he directly responsible for every single case that passes through the EFCC? Because there's no way he can humanly keep track of it. So why has he been ordered to arrest? It could be a fault from the legal department, or some people are not doing their jobs.
Barrister Nzeakor, can you hear us?
Okay, Bawa, I'd like to direct that question to you if you heard me correctly. Hello, Bawa, are you there?
Good evening. I'm still here.
Okay, Bawa, my question is this. Why is this on the chairman of the EFCC? It's a big organization. They have thousands of cases that are prosecuting over the years. Is he expected to know every single legal case that the EFCC is handling?
Yeah, like I said earlier, and addressing the submissions of my counsel earlier, the law is clear. The law is clear. Now, I will refer you to a case of the Supreme Court. In the case of Omodia and Umoru, this was a case as per Ahmed JSC. He said something, and I'm going to quote that. This is flouted by contempt of court, not the individual court or the judge who is attempting to admit side. It is justice itself. So the antecedent of Abdulrasheed Bawa, the EFCC chairman, to the best of my knowledge of the law, is a flagrant disregard and flouting of the law of the land. It's a sense of justice. And if he, as the head of an agency at the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, would commit such atrocity against the law, then who are we to question somebody can argue who does that?
Okay, Bawa, from all what you said, it still falls on the desk of the EFCC chairman, unfortunately, which happens to be Abdulrasheed Bawa. Now, Barrister Nzeakor, I want to go back, as earlier on you mentioned in 2018. Now, looking at the track record of Abdulrasheed Bawa, we've seen the EFCC, the Economic Financial Crimes Commission, which was created to make sure to deal with financial crimes. Now, unfortunately, we've heard reports of auctioning of recovered stolen items in the office of the EFCC. How would you relate the track record of Abdulrasheed Bawa as the EFCC chairman, as he has also appealed this court order?
Well, I think it is still too early in the day to begin to assess the leadership of Abdulrasheed Bawa in EFCC. If you speak with EFCC officials and operatives, they will tell you that they have done well with respect to their securing convictions from prosecution of people who have breached who are found accused of economic and financial crimes. Abdulrasheed Bawa assumed office in February 2021. He has just been in office for roughly 1.5 years. And I think from all indications, he has done well so far in office. But this has become a black spot in his administration, the issue of disobedience of the orders of court. And like you rightly said or asked in your previous question, whether he should know everything that is going on in EFCC, my answer to that is that the buck should stop on his table. If eventually nobody brought his attention to this issue until this embarrassing moment, then he has every right to sack some people who would have caused the institution this colossal embarrassment. And then and by going forward, that will be by way of ensuring that those who are in the legal department and who are supposed to bring the chairman up to speed with the goings on in the court should be up and going. But I believe and I think that the chairman must have been briefed because the lawyers to the beneficiary of that judgment, lawyers to AVM Ogiawo, would have brought the issue before the executive chairman. And of course, I can tell you that for every petition that goes to EFCC, a committee sits to look through it and recommend whether it will be prosecuted or whether it will be handled by EFCC or not. And that committee is chaired by the chairman. Even if the chairman himself is unavailable, he has some deputies who will bring some very salient issues to their attention. And that is why the court would have been convinced that it was intentional. The disobedience of the orders of court would have been intentional, and that is why the court now wielded the big stick.
All right, Barrister Nzeakor.
I think it should be a lesson to everybody.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister Nzeakor. Unfortunately, it falls on the desk of Abdulrasheed Bawa, and he has made an appeal, and we wait to see how that pans out. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation, and of course, a very big thank you to Bayo Lusonya for joining us on this conversation also. Thank you.
Many thanks.
And this is where we'll draw the curtains of today's edition of the conversation. On the first half, we dealt with ongoing discussions at the COP summit, and African leaders, especially the Namibian president, putting the fingers at developed countries, saying that they are the worst polluters in the world and they should be tagged as criminals. And we just finished conversations in Nigeria where the EFCC, the anti-graft boss, has been remanded at the Kuje Correctional Center. He has appealed the court sentence, and we wait to see how that pans out. I'm Rita Omodia. To join us again on Friday for another edition of The Conversation.
And I'm Gbenga Aborowa. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. Bye-bye.